One of the biggest movie stars on the planet was never supposed to be in this show. The network already had someone else in the role. They had already shot the pilot, and they had already shown it to test audiences. And then, right before the series ever aired, producers scrapped every single frame of his performance and quietly reshot the whole thing around a 23-year-old nobody. That gamble is still paying off decades later, and we are saving that story for number 1, because it might be the single best what-if in TV casting history. Welcome back to the Throwback Network, where today we are counting down 10 TV pilots that got completely recast before a single episode ever reached the air. Shows where the version you grew up watching was not actually the first version that got made. Here is what else is coming. A beloved sitcom dad almost was not there at all, swapped out because of a scheduling fluke on a completely different show. An actress filmed an entire pilot about witches, walked away over a personal objection to the role, and ended up replaced by the woman who became the face of the franchise. And one show recast 2 lead characters in the same unaired pilot, including a future star of one of the biggest genre shows of the 2000s, starting at number 10. Number 10, Growing Pains, 1985. Before Tracy Gold ever played Carol Seaver, someone else had the part first. That someone was an actress named Elizabeth Ward, and she was not a stranger to the production, having actually co-starred with a young Tracy Gold the year before in a 1983 ABC after-school special. Producers shot the pilot with Ward in the role and tested it in front of audiences, and it did not land, which meant they went back to the actress they had already passed over once and reshot Carol's scenes around Tracy Gold before the show ever aired. Gold's own reaction when she got the call has become part of the show's trivia lore. "No, you already saw me and didn't like me." They saw her again anyway. Gold went on to play Carol Seaver for the entire run of Growing Pains, while Elizabeth Ward's version exists today only in deleted scenes tucked away on a Season 1 DVD. Number 9, Perfect Strangers, 1986. Long before Marklyn Baker played buttoned-up Midwestern cousin Larry Appleton, that role belonged to comedian Louis Anderson. Anderson filmed the pilot opposite Bronson Pinchot's bulky Barticomas, playing out the fish-out-of-water culture clash comedy that would go on to define the show for the next 7 years. Something was not clicking, though. The chemistry test audiences needed between the two cousins never showed up with Anderson in the role, and that is what got him cut loose. Producers auditioned replacements and landed on Marklyn Baker, and his partnership with Pinchot turned into one of the defining sitcom duos of the late 1980s. Louis Anderson, for his part, built an entire stand-up and television career out of exactly the kind of larger-than-life energy that apparently did not fit this role at all. Number 8, Home Improvement, 1991. Tim Allen's TV wife was almost a completely different person. Dramatic actress Frances Fisher was originally cast as Jill Taylor, opposite Allen's Tim the Toolman Taylor, but within days of rehearsals, it became clear the fit was wrong. Fisher brought a more serious, grounded sensibility to the role, and that sensibility simply did not mesh with Allen's grunting, tool-obsessed comic energy. Producers let her go and recast the part with Patricia Richardson, who ended up playing Jill Taylor for all 8 seasons of the show's run. The entire back and forth that made Home Improvement work, the eye-rolling, exasperated wife playing straight woman to her husband's constant chaos, almost never existed at all. Number 7, Boy Meets World, 1993. This one is a double recast, and it happened in a single reshoot. In the first cut of the Boy Meets World pilot, Corey Matthews' older brother Eric was played by an actor named Harry Barandes, and Dad Alan Matthews was played by Matt McCoy. Producers looked at the footage and realized Barandes, who stood about the same height as young Ben Savage, never read as the older brother the story needed. And that is what sent the whole pilot back into production. Barandes got replaced by Will Friedle, and in the same pass, Matt McCoy got swapped out for William Russ. An entire TV family gained a new older brother and a new father before Boy Meets World ever aired a single episode, and the version that swapped in stuck around for 7 seasons. If rediscovering the version of your favorite shows that almost happened is your kind of rabbit hole, hit that like button and subscribe to the Throwback Network, where new videos go up every week. Number 6, Charmed, 1998. Before Alyssa Milano ever played Phoebe Halliwell, an actress named Lori Rom had already filmed the role in Charm's original unaired pilot. Rom reportedly left the project over a personal objection to playing a witch on television, and that opened the door for Aaron Spelling, who knew Alyssa Milano from her time on Melrose Place, to bring her in as a replacement. The entire pilot got reshot around Milano, and in that same pass, actor Ted King stepped in to replace Chris Boyd as Police Inspector Andy Trudeau. Alyssa Milano went on to become one of the faces of Charmed for 8 seasons, while the actress, who was supposed to get there first, left before the show ever aired a single frame of footage with her in it. Number 5. Gilmore Girls, 2000. Gilmore Girls did not just recast one role in its unaired pilot, it recast 2. Mad TV cast member Alex Borstein originally played Sookie Street, James, Lorelai's best friend and business partner, but Borstein could not get released from her Mad TV contract in time, so the role went to Melissa McCarthy instead, though Borstein liked the show enough to stick around in other recurring parts for years afterward. At the same time, Rory's first boyfriend, Dean Forrester, was originally played by an actor named Nathan Weatherington, who came across as flat and disinterested on screen. Producers reshot the pilot with Jared Padalecki in the role instead, a decade before Padalecki became one of the leads of a long-running genre show of his own. 2 recasts came out of one unaired pilot, and 2 completely different careers got launched because of it. Number 4. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 1997. Before Allison Hannigan made Willow Rosenberg one of the most beloved characters in 90s genre television, the role belonged to an actress named Riff Regan. Regan played Willow in a roughly 25-minute unaired presentation reel, the kind of pilot networks use to sell a show rather than actually air it. And her version of the character came across quieter and more subdued, missing the quirky, vibrant energy that would come to define Willow later on. When Buffy the Vampire Slayer moved forward as a series, producers recast the role with Allison Hannigan, and her take on the character became one of the emotional anchors of the show for 7 seasons. Riff Regan's Willow exists today only as a footnote and a reel that never made it to air. Number 3. Frasier, 1993. Frasier's radio producer Roz Doyle was almost played by someone else entirely. An actress filmed the Frasier pilot in the role years before she would become a household name for a completely different show, and producers felt her comedic instincts kept pulling scenes that needed to stay grounded into something too broad. That is what led them to recast the part with Peri Gilpin, who went on to play Roz Doyle for all 11 seasons of the show's run. Less than a year after getting cut from Frasier, that same actress landed a career-defining sitcom role of her own, one that would make her one of the most recognizable comedic actresses of her generation. Sometimes getting recast out of one show is exactly what clears the runway for the role that actually makes you famous. Number 2. Full House, 1987. Danny Tanner almost was not Bob Saget. Producers actually wanted Saget from the very beginning, but he was tied up as an on-air contributor for a competing network morning show at the time. So they cast an actor named John Posey instead and shot the entire Full House pilot with him, playing the widowed father raising 3 daughters with the help of his best friend and brother-in-law. 9 months later, that other morning show got canceled, and Bob Saget suddenly became available. Producers did not hesitate, scrapping John Posey's version entirely and reshooting the pilot around Saget instead. One of the most beloved sitcom dads in television history almost did not happen, all because of a scheduling conflict on a show absolutely nobody remembers today. Number 1. 21 Jump Street, 1987. Here's the one promised at the top. Undercover cop Tom Hansen, the role that turned Johnny Depp into a household name, was originally played by an actor named Jeff Yager, who filmed the entire pilot for this Fox series, playing a young cop going undercover in high schools to bust teenage crime. Before the show ever aired, producers scrapped his performance completely and reshot every one of his scenes with a 23-year-old actor named Johnny Depp instead. Depp went on to become one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, and 21 Jump Street became the show that launched him. Jeff Yager's version of Tom Hansen never made it to air at all, every single frame of it replaced, before audiences ever had the chance to see it. That is 10 shows where the pilot you would recognize almost never existed, where a different actor got there first, filmed the whole thing, and still ended up as a footnote in TV trivia instead of the star of the show. If there is a specific pilot recast story you think we missed, drop it in the comments, because between casting near misses and full-blown reshoots, television has never run out of ways to almost look completely different than it turned out. Thanks for watching. This is the Throwback Network, and I will see you in the next one.